Alrighty, so tonight I'm working on this door for the Fiat 130, replacing the rust that I found in the bottom of it. You can see I've ground away the paint using what's called a strip-it disc. You can see there, made by Brumby. Very good, very effective, and not very harsh in the metal, which is what you want. So I've ground that away, and I found a whole bunch of bog where someone's tried to patch it up before. Yeah, it's just horrible. You can see all these other little bits of rust here that were coming through. These were made worse when I sandblasted the inside of it, without really showing me the proper areas. Now I've also ground away the paint on the rest of the bottom of the door here as well, just to find out if there's any more rust or any more bog, and there isn't, which is good. And the good thing is down the bottom along there, that's all, if you can see that, that's all pretty good. You can see the original drain holes here, which I've got to remake in my patch as well. But I'll get onto that in a minute. Yeah, you can see 2 drain holes, and then lots of drain holes. Yeah, it's not very pretty, very dodgy repair. Yeah, and up the side a bit too, so I basically have a patch that comes from probably about here, and then down like that. So yeah, once I get that bit off too, I'm going to have to make up a patch to fix the inner door skin, because that started to rust away too. You can see it should be there, but it's not. I'm sorry if it's not focusing properly, I'm just using my iPhone, so a little bit dodgy. But yeah, anyway, so I've got a patch made up. Here's one I prepared earlier, and that's how it fits, which isn't too bad. I should have made that around a radius there for that weld, because welding to a sharp corner like that concentrates the heat and causes warping, so I'll just have to be very careful when I weld it. Just do small bits at a time, I think. Yeah, so that's how that fits, and I've tapped it over on the edge of the bench top saw thing, whatever you want to call it. And yeah, the whole way along the bottom I've bent it over too. Now I've also included some drain holes in here, so I've just marked them out. There is one there, just smudged off, and one up there. I've included this one as close to the edge as possible, so I wouldn't get I wouldn't get a well of water in here if I do decide to drive in the rain, which I really don't want to. Yeah, so that'll be my next job. I was going to use these hand nibblers, which have a little blade just in there. If I can, hang on. Yeah, you squeeze it. Oh, doesn't want to focus. Yeah, you squeeze them in it. Takes those little chunks of metal like that there. But they're too big a radius. They're about a 9 or 10 mil radius, so that'll make these holes way too big. They'd probably take up most of the thickness here for the bottom side of the door. So what I'm going to do instead is they're about 5 mil in diameter. So I've got a 5 mil drill bit, and it's going to drill a series of holes and make up the drain holes that way. Hopefully it will work. And then once I've got that patch done and this whole bottom section completed, for repainting purposes, I'm going to take the paint off up to this crease line or accent line, whatever you want to call it. That way it won't show up when you've repainted it. I can see someone else has done a bit of work on this door too. I don't know if you guys can see that. Just there, passing with the light, there's a bit of a lip or a ripple in the paint. Just running through here, and that's actually where the paint's been taken down to before, like this. Because someone had bogged over up here too. All little pinholes have started coming through. So I'll be cutting that out and repairing it, and God knows what. And there's a little bit of rust up in this top corner here. You can see it's actually got a bit of a crack across there. So 3 problem areas. So once I get them done, I'll look at repainting the door. That'll be a crash course in painting, so we'll see how it goes. Yeah. Alright, so that's the first drain hole done. Yeah, it didn't turn out too bad. What I've done is I've clamped the patch that I made up to a block of wood. That way I had a nice steady surface to drill into, and I held it with one hand and operated the drill press with the other. Yeah, it didn't turn out too bad, just got to clean up with a file a bit. But I've made them bigger than the original ones. You can see they're probably about 20 mil long, and I measured these are about 15, so thought I'd make them a bit bigger, that way more water can get out, and it's the less amount of water sitting in there, the better. That's what I figure. So I'll go ahead and make the next 2 and see how we go. So there we go, all done. It's 3 of them. So that's about 4 holes drilled with the 5 mil drill bit. So yeah, just cleaned them up a bit. So that works. So the next thing is just got to round off that corner, and for that I'll probably use the nibblers. I would try and film and show you at the same time. It's a bit difficult, so yeah, sorry. Alright, I'm ready to make the cut. See, I've traced out where I'm going to cut. This is my final patch that I'll be welding in. Got your drain holes there. Everything is all ready to go. That corner's all nice and rounded. Now, to cut this, I'm going to be using these really thin grinding discs. Can't tell the exact thickness because I can't be bothered finding it on the disc, but they are really thin. They're really good too. And what I'll be doing when I cut it is, I don't know if you can see it, I'll be going on the line instead of going under it or above it. So exactly on the line. And hopefully what that'll do is give me enough, it'll take away enough material above it just to make the patch sort of sit up and in properly. Because if you imagine, I've made it to fit over the top of this. It's going to be kicked out by the lip here, so it's got to sort of move upwards in like that. So yeah, I'll see how it goes. Hopefully it works well. Fingers crossed. Now, one thing I do got to be careful of when I cut this is there's a second skin below this, so I don't want to put the blade too deep through the metal. Otherwise, of course, I'll hit the other one and make cuts that I don't want there. So hopefully it goes okay. Well, that's done. I'm actually quite happy with that. I did quite a clean cut, and I managed to get virtually no panel distortion, which is really good. I'm really happy about it. Now, that's the part that came out. Yeah, glad that's out of there. And you can see behind, it was just absolutely pitted and rusted away. Now, the way I marked this up, I tried to cut out, or tried to have an outline above all the rust in the patch that I took out, where you can see the clean metal that isn't rusted yet. You can get that basically the whole way along, which is really good. And if I can't show you because the door's right there, hang on. Pick it up. Yeah. See where I cut it out? There's no rust left on the existing metal that I've left behind, which I'm really happy about. Yeah, and the rest of that's really nice and clean down in there, so I'm happy from that aspect. Now you can see the rust that's left behind. You can sort of imagine there'd have been a drain hole there, and somewhere there. So you can see the work I've got to do. Hopefully I don't have to replace that corner bit. That looks... Yeah, I'll be able to sandblast that, and that should be fine. I might have to replace the bit that goes along the bottom here. Be able to sandblast that, and that'll be savable. So, yeah, very good. All I've got to do now is cut these radiuses out. That's one there, and one there. Ones that I couldn't do with a grinder. I'll probably use a nibbler for that, but that should be easy enough to do. But the good thing is, the patch panel fits beautifully. I'm really happy with that. Really good result. So, once I get those corners done, I'll look into welding this in. Now, the only other thing I've got to be careful of as well, I've got to look out for, or I've got to do, sorry. This bit down here, I've got to fold it up to make like a U shape on that end, and that edge there. As you can see down the bottom here, they came around and they wrapped back around up the top. So what I'll do, I've left a fair bit of excess on this part here so I can have a bit to play with. But yeah, it's all coming along nicely. Anyway, stay tuned. And that's what it looks like. I've just got a magnet stuck on the inside to stick it on. But yeah, it fits really well. I've cut out the corners and really happy with that. And it should fit really well once it's all welded up. So yeah, all I've got to do now is, like I said before, bend those bits around to meet it properly. And same on this side here, I'll put a bit of a weld down here to strengthen it up. Yeah, sure be sweet, mate. Then I can move on to the next bit. This is the bit that I cut out, as I showed before. It's probably a better shot of it now. But yeah, surprise, on this side, the metal can look, fine. You'd still probably use that. But you've got to be careful, because on this side, it's all pitted and rusted and just downright crap. And like I said before, you've got to try and aim to get an outline of decent metal if you're cutting out rust like this. That way, if the metal's good on this side, and it's good on this side, like it is there, then you're fine, as long as you cover this part appropriately, like, sandblast it and coat it in whatever to stop it from rusting, or, yeah, whatever, it's up to you. But yeah, so that's one rust repair for this Fiat, half done. So still, like I said before, got to replace the rust that's down there, get all that looking pretty, then I can weld this part back in, and then start the next bits. But anyway, I'm going to bed. Thanks.